Welcome to Think Out Free Your Imagination. This podcast is about the imagination of me, Jennifer Purcell, and other neurodivergents and neurotypicals, and how our imagination is still vivid because we are neurodivergent, and about my imagination I used to have when I was little and bringing it to life and sharing it with you. I hope that you enjoy this first episode and that you will be inspired to email me if you want to be interviewed about your imagination that you had when you were little. I will put my email in the podcast description for you. Good evening, and today's episode will be the last few chapters from Marissa, Marcia. A lot of this, sorry. Farewell in retirement, no more wars. My warriors and I have fought too many wars. Now we must retire. The dark and middle sides don't want us to, though. They are tired too, but they like fighting. We haven't fought for ages, so we're going to retire. We love our way of life in retirement because it is much more relaxing. We don't have to worry about fighting wars or losing them. We also don't have to worry about losing any warriors. That doesn't happen often unless they get an incurable injury, which is rare, but not impossible. That did happen once. It happened to my great uncle, who was a great warrior. His name was Paul Peter Parkinson, or PQ. He was a wonderful person, and he had a very short life. He died when he was only 22 years old. He was the youngest chosen one to die yet. This wasn't an easy position for his family. They were able to do it, though, with support from their family and me. They said I was the best chosen one they had. I was so good because I could do all the powers and specialties, which was unusual for the chosen one. It had never happened before in the history of chosen ones. And usually chosen ones only have a few powers and specialties, but I was able to master all of them because that was the way I was born. This was unheard of. It never happened again, and no one knows why this is true. We are all still trying to figure that out. Truce. Like I said before, we are tired of fighting, so we stopped and decided to see if the dark and middle sides would make a truce with us. Surprisingly, they agreed to fight no more wars as long as we promised to do the same as long as we have lived. We promised to do that. It has lasted for longer than we all thought it ever would. We thought we would get tired of not fighting anymore, but apparently we were wrong. We were wrong because we definitely wanted to stop fighting, otherwise we would have kept doing it. We haven't been doing so since the first millisecond everyone signed the truce document. We hung a copy of it up in each of our rooms as a reminder to ourselves, especially if we ever had a difficult time. We did this so we could have a reference for questions that may come up. We also wanted to be reminded of the promise we made to each other. We haven't had a battle, disagreement, or argument since we signed it. This has surprised us because we used to argue constantly, but we don't know why now. I think we finally finally realize that we aren't all that different deep down. We do all want the same thing, to have a happy life and find someone to share it with. Peace and key warriors keeping adult mama safe. It was very odd to have a peaceful life, but it was also very nice. It was nice because we had the complete opposite for so long. We needed a life that was more normal for once. There will never be a complete norm because of all the powers. We will always have a very strange and different life. Maybe that is a good thing. I think it is a good thing because it makes us who we are. It has been and always will be part of our lives. I love the life of safety, and I know it will last because of the truce and because each chosen one will do their part to stick to it. I owe it to the key warriors who have kept me safe during this peaceful time. Even though we're not fighting anymore, doesn't mean that there isn't anything for them to do. They can still keep a watchful eye on the horizon, and that is exactly what they will do. They will make sure that the other two chosen ones are keeping their promise because I am no more fighting as long as nothing changes. Nothing will change for a very long time. Epilogue. We thought nothing would change because we loved our new life of peace and harmony. But I think we also knew that deep down, all good things must come to an end at some point, even if we don't want them to. We didn't want things to change, but knew they were going to because we could feel it coming. We knew a storm was coming that would change all the sides' lives forever, but we weren't exactly sure how they would change yet. We could feel the dark and middle side warriors becoming weaker and the light ones becoming stronger again. There wasn't going to be another war, but we knew something new was coming. We knew that they were going to join our side whether they liked it or not, and whether they had a choice or not. They would be forced to do it because if they didn't, their sides would die and be lost to history forever. They would still have their unique powers and specialties, but they would become part of the light side. So eventually there was only one side, only one world, one harmonious family that would eventually have a peaceful life again. Goodbye until our next adventure begins. Book summary. Join Marissa, or M Cubed, Marissa, and her family and her army of warriors of stuffed animals. Get a glimpse of her imagination and see how the world is to be in the dark, middle, or light. You'll see the journeys and adventures that M Cubed and her warriors go on in fighting the dark and middle sides to persevere the peace between the three sides. You'll see who you may relate to in this book and which side you may want to be on. You will also be able to share this world with your friends by traveling the world with M Cubed and her warriors. I hope you enjoy the journeys and adventures as much as I did writing them. I hope that this week's episode of Think Out Free Your Imagination brought new ideas to your mind and reminded you of when you were little and would imagine and pretend and play with your friends or yourself and create games in your mind and just be a kid and have fun and what it's like to dream it and do that and be able to be a little kid again and believe in things like fairy tales and mermaids and wonderful creatures. I will talk to you next Thursday.